Hello guys and welcome to the new tutorial from the SketchUp Studio. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how we can make exterior render in Enscape for SketchUp. So first of all, this is the environment that we have in here and you can download this file below this video, so don't worry about it. I'm going to put the link of it. I'm going to press F on my keyboard and start my rendering. I'm going to click on the camera number 1 in here and I'm going to close the shot in here. I'm going to turn on the safe frame and I want to use 2-point perspective for the better view of my building. So I'm going to click on the visual setting in here and move visual setting to the left side. And now I'm going to start my rendering. First of all, we have exposure in here. If you turn off the auto exposure, you will see these type of scene for yourself and you need to set it manually. But I don't suggest this option for you because when you can change the exposure automatically based on the standards, why you want to turn it off. So I want to increase the exposure to the 56 in here and I want to reduce the field of view to some number that I can find best view shot for my exterior. But before I do this work, I want to minimize Enscape at the right side to see better view of my rendering window. I'm going to reduce the field of view to some number like this, something like that, like this for example. Okay, and I think 64 is enough. I'm going to turn on the depth of field and you can see we have blur image in here and autofocus is off for me also. I'm going to play with the focal point and focus on the house and my facade design like that. The number is about 19.44 and the power of the blurriness is 11. I'm going to increase the rendering quality to the ultra mode to see all the shadows in the best way. I'm going to go to the image bar and you have 2 ways for your image correction. First one is the manual set. You can increase the highlights, decrease the highlights, increase the shadows, decrease the shadows. But I want to reset them and only click on the auto contrast. When you click on the auto contrast, now Enscape will calculate the highlights and shadows automatically. I'm going to increase the saturation to the 101 and color temperature will be reduced to some number like, I don't know, maybe 6100 Kelvin. Motion blur can be simulate blur caused by the length of time of the camera shutter is open. If you increase it, you will see some changes in your render, and if you decrease it, you will see some crispy lines on your render. So in this case, I'm going to set it on the 20% in here, and bloom will be get reduced for me to the 4. The lens flare is about 44, and I'm going to increase the vignette to create some cinematic view of my building. So 46% can be good, and chromatic aberration related to the edges. If you want sharp edges, you need to turn it off. I'm going to click on the atmosphere and I'm going to increase the fog to see what really happened inside of my project. In this case, you can see when I increase the fog intensity and the height is on the 70 meter, it means that from the 70 meter from ground, it will cover by the fog. But in here, if you reduce the height option to some number like the maybe 3 or 4, look at this personage in here. He will fade it out in the fog sometimes. So in this case, I want to turn fog off in here, and the sun brightness, I'm gonna set it on the 88%, and night sky is not really important in here because we have a daylight rendering. The shadow sharpness can be increased to the 100 and you can see these trees, shadows and leaves on the brick wall. So totally it depends on you. You want soft shadows or you want hard shadows. If you want some sharp shadows, you need to type 78. And we have artificial light brightness in here, but totally it's not working right now because it's based on the artificial light sources like the spotlights or some other things like that. So sunlight not will be affected by the artificial light brightness. And ambient brightness can help you to generate more power for your environment. For example, 71%. The wind is not really important for me because I'm not creating animation. The next item is the Skybox. If I click on the Skybox, I have one option in here which name is white background. If I click on the white background, it will be like the Photoshop, for example, and you can use it for your different sheet designs. But in this case, I want to turn it off. My source is the white ground. You can change it to the white cubes, or you can change it to the town or construction site, or I don't know, some other type of HDRI sources. In this case, white ground is enough for me. I don't want these type of clouds in my sky, so I'm going to turn off the Osiris amount. You can see what's really happened with the Osiris amount. If I increase the Osiris amount, I have some small generated clouds in different part of the sky. And if I reduce it, I have a clear sky. So it totally depends on how you want to use it. I think some number like 19 can be acceptable for me. Density can be yet a little bit higher. For example, something like that, or I can reduce it. For example, 36, and the variety is about 54. Contrails is the way of the air jets, which you can see like that. You can add it, it depends on you. Maybe if you want to render airport design, you can use this, but right now I don't think it's necessary. And the last options are the longitude and latitude. If I increase the longitude and play with it, I can change the movements and placements of the clouds in my sky. For example, something like that. 1500. Everything is fine, and latitude is the way of changes in my renderer like that. Something like this, for example. 50 meter. Everything is done for me. My resolution is the full HD. I like it. And I think now time for the rendering. I can increase the depth of field to the 16% to see what happened. We have better blurriness in here, but tool-wise, I think better. Everything is done. I'm going to maximize the Enscape, and now time for the rendering. For this reason, I'm going to click on the screenshot in here, and now I'm going to save it on my desktop. I'm going to press save, and Enscape will finalize my render for me. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If this tutorial really useful for you, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Thanks for your time, thanks for your valuable watching, and goodbye.